Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Mears. This is my attempt at some remote learning. I am going to reteach fraction lesson 10.1 that we learned a couple weeks before break as kind of a review. I'm sorry the screen is so fuzzy. This computer, I guess, doesn't have a very good camera on it. But I'm going to hit some buttons and share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm doing on my computer screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. I am going to show you how to get into your Hello ID account. And so I'm going to pull up a tab. You can see that I was playing with Prodigy earlier. And now I'm going to open a new tab. And I've already been to Hello ID, but I'm going to show you how you can get to Hello ID. I am going to search for, I am sharing that screen. No, it should share my whole screen. I'll be able to tell when I watch the video I'm taking. So,
video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you couldn't see, that was Brian. So I'm going to type in South Kitsap School District. Okay, so here it popped up here, so I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to click on it. Okay, now over in the corner, hopefully you see this little gear. I'm going to click on that little gear. So I'm using Internet Explorer because for some reason Chrome, which is this guy down here that we're used to using at school, I can't open my Hello ID account with that one. So you'll need to experiment and see which one works best for you. So my thing's already typed in because I have used it before, but you'll type in your code, and instead of @skschools.org, for you it's, I think it's @skstudent.org. If you have your planner at home, it's, once you open your planner, just past the plastic page, there's a little sticker, and I have your code written down there. So I'm going to sign in, and my Hello ID has a lot more tags or apps to choose from than yours does. So I'm going to come down here to Pearson because we're going to watch the video that goes with it today. So this is kind of like at school when Mrs. Mears walks over to her computer and gets the video ready. So I'm going to come down here to Pearson Realize. Now my Pearson screen looks a little different than yours does. I'm going to come over and I'm going to click on the otter. And I'm going to scroll down to topic 10. And I'm going to open topic 10. Something I'm going to do right now is I'm going to assign to you a digital quick check, which is kind of cool. And that way you don't have to use paper to do this. You can just do it. And it gives you 5 questions. So I'm going to assign it today. I'm going to tell you you have 2 weeks to do it. There we go. That should do it. Okay. Now I'm going to come down and find the video. I'm going to unplug my headphones because I don't know if when it plays, if you'd be able to hear it. So I'm going to unplug the headphones and we'll see if it works. And hopefully my family will not be too noisy in the background. I'm going to make that bigger so that you can see the otter a little more. There we go.
How can you compare fractions with the same numerator or the same denominator? Two scarves are the same size. One scarf is 4/6 green, and the other scarf is 2/6 green. Which is greater, 4/6 or 2/6? How can you compare the fractions? You can use fraction strips.
Okay, hopefully you're looking at that and thinking, wow, 2/6 is smaller and 4/6 is larger. And I'm going to show you a neat trick right now. I've got my little smartboard stuff on this computer, so I'm going to touch the pen and I am going, oh, well, I thought I was going to. Bummer. Tech is great when it works. Let's try that again. Hello, I want to write on you. Okay, it doesn't want me to write on it, but you can see me doing my cursor. So we know that that one is larger.
How do the fractions of 4/6 and 2/6 help you solve the problem?
What are you looking at?
I'm recording, so unless you want to be in it, I'd walk away.
You need to find which fraction is greater. You can line up the models to see which number ensures the greater fraction. Which is greater, 4/6 or 2/6?
And hopefully you're all saying that 4/6 is greater.
4/6 is greater than 2/6. If two fractions have the same denominator, the fraction with the greater numerator is the greater fraction.
Okay, so that was our video that leads to today's lesson. Okay, now I'm gonna shrink this down. And I'm gonna bring up the smartboard lesson that goes with it. Okay, so on this, needless to say, we're not gonna take time to print all these out, but what you can do is you can have some paper. So I am going to redo the questions, and I do want you to show your work that goes with each one. Ella made 215 large bookmarks to sell at a school fair. She made 95 small bookmarks. How many bookmarks did she make to sell at the fair? So hopefully you're thinking, I need to identify the important numbers in this. So 215 is an important number. 95 is an important number. And now hopefully you're thinking, what is my question that I need to answer? So our question in this one is, how many bookmarks did she in all did she make to sell at the fair? Okay, now boys and girls, what is our keyword that lets us know whether we are adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? And hopefully you're whispering to yourself, in all. And on your spiral or your notebook paper, I'd like you to show your work for 200. I'm going to see if I can use my finger. Oh, I can, yay. 215, pardon my bad handwriting, plus 95, and hopefully your handwriting, that's a plus, looks better than my handwriting on the screen. So I'm going to write it real quick in my little spiral while you're showing your work on your paper. And I'm going to work it. I want you working it. Don't just copy off my paper. Okay, hopefully you also got 310 as your answer. Okay, for our next one, number 2, what fraction is shown by the shaded part below? Your options are 3/8, 4/8, 3/5, and 5/8. Now remember, the bottom number is called our what, boys and girls? Hopefully you're thinking denominator. And it's represents the total number of pieces in the entire shape. So hopefully after thinking about that, there's one that you can cross off and say, oh, that's a no way, Jose. So I'm going to come over here, grab my red pen, and I am going to cross off 3/5. That's my no way, Jose, because there's more than 5 parts in that whole piece. They want to know about our shaded, our shaded parts. So I want you to count up the shaded parts with me. I'm going to switch over to a highlighter. I'm going to try to switch over to a highlighter. There we go. And count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And whisper out loud, how many shaded parts? I hope I hear you say 5. And now how many do we have for our denominator or our bottom number? Whisper out. Hopefully you're saying 8. So hopefully you went with 5/8 as your answer for number 2. So on your paper for number 2, hopefully you wrote 5/8, just like I did. Okay, number 3. Remember, even though it says mental math, please still show your work. There are 7 days in 1 week. How many days are in 8 weeks? So I need to identify the important numbers in that problem. Hopefully you were thinking about 8 and you were thinking about 7. Now, I could use repeated addition, but that would take me like forever. And that's not a good use of my brain. So hopefully you are thinking 7 times, whoopsie, that's a times, 8. I'm having trouble with my finger on my screen. Okay, it's kind of like when you guys go up to the smart board. That's supposed to be an 8. Hopefully you can imagine that as an 8. And hopefully you're looking and you're thinking, 7 times 8 is going to be a big number. I've got a no way, Jose, that I can get rid of. I've gotten rid of that one. So while you're writing your answer, I'm going to write my answer on my paper. I'm writing 7 times 8 equals, and hopefully you also wrote 56 for your answer. Okay, number 4, I'm going to switch back to the highlighter. Corinne, hi Corinne, hope you're watching, made a bracelet of beads. For every 3 yellow beads in the bracelet, she used 1 blue bead. Her bracelet has 6 blue beads. How many yellow beads did Corinne use? Well, bummer, I don't have a blue highlighter on this. Let's see if I can add one real quick. Okay, let's push a button. Highlighter. Add another one. Do I drag it over? It's been a while since I've done this. Add or remove. Oh, by dragging. Okay, let's try that. Okay, let's use the clicky mouse. Hello. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to change its color. Oh, done. I want you to be blue. Oh, that's a nice shade of blue. Hope you guys like that blue. Okay, so it says Corinne made a bracelet for every 3 yellow beads. So I need to put down 3 yellow beads. I hope that's yellow. 1, 2, 3. She used 1 blue bead. So I've got 1 blue bead now. Okay, I'm going to switch it back to my tool. And it said for every 3 yellow beads in the bracelet, she used 1 blue bead. How many yellow beads did she use? Remember, she has 6 blue beads. So I am going to group that, and I am going to turn it into an infinite cloner. So it told me she has 6 blue beads. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Hopefully you're looking at that and thinking, ooh, that's kind of like a multiplication array. So I'm asked to look at how many yellow beads she used. Okay, let's grab another pen. Red pen. So if I'm looking only at my yellow, here I have 3. And if I'm looking at this side, that's kind of messy. Here I have 6. What operation can we use to quickly figure out 3 groups of 6 or 6 rows of 3? Hopefully you're thinking multiplication. And so I'm going to write a multiplication equation in my spiral, and hopefully you are too. So 6 rows of 3. And I'm writing my answer. Hopefully you're writing your answer, and I'm hoping that you also came up with 18 as your answer. So I'm going to circle that. Okay, now our next one. Each weekday, Ms. Long runs 5 miles. Well, good for her. After 3 weeks, how far has she run? This one has kind of a hidden question in it, or some hidden information. In order to answer that, you have to know how many days are considered weekdays. And that would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So hopefully you're like, yep, I knew it, Miss Mears, that was 5. So I'm going to make an equation. We have 5 days in a weekday, or weeks, but okay, mess that up. So each of those 5 days, she runs 5 miles. Now it says that she's doing this for 3 weeks. And hopefully you're not hearing my family in the background. Okay, so we have 5 times 5. And that one you count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I'm going to put my 25 down. And now I have to multiply that by 3. Now I remember when I modeled this one on our smartboard back when we had class, and I was shocked by how many, even though I took it to this point, how many of you still missed this problem. So remember, think of quarters when you're buying popcorn on Fridays. 1 bag of popcorn is 25 cents. Second bag of popcorn is, hopefully you're thinking that would make 50. Now if I buy a 3rd bag of popcorn on Friday, 25, 50, hopefully you're thinking 75. So I do want your equation written down, and I also want your answer of 75 written down. Oh, trying to write on the mouse pad is not easy. So in my notebook, I'm writing number 5, and I'm writing 5 times 5 times 3 equals 75. Remember, underneath the 5 times 5, I want you to show that that got you 25. So hopefully yours looks like mine. Okay, on to our last problem. Number 6, Jared takes 75 shots in basketball. Practice on Monday. He takes 48 shots on Tuesday and 83 on Wednesday. How many shots does he take in all 3 days? So I'm going to come over here. We've got 75, we've got 48, and we have 83. And it does say in all 3 days. So that lets me know I have some adding to do. So I am going to stack them and add them. Ooh, that's not a bad 5. Okay, now 48. So hopefully you also are stacking them and adding them on your paper. Now I'm hoping in a few days that we will figure out how to do Zoom together, and we can have little lessons, which will be fun. Okay, so I'm going to stack them real quick and add them. Hopefully you're doing that too. 75 plus 48 plus 85. Okay, now hopefully you've noticed that we've got a friends of 10 going on here, that you can do 5 plus 5 is 10, and then add the 8 to get 18. So hopefully you put your 8 down. Whoop, there we go. Carried your 1. Now I don't have a nice friends of 10, but I do have 7 plus 8 is 15. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 15 plus 5 is 20. So hopefully you also got 208. Ooh, there we go, nice arrow, as your answer. Okay, so nice job, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on to our problem of the day. So we don't have our fraction strips, so we can't use that. Let me see, let me go dual screen on this for a second and see if I have the digital fraction strips built in. Oh, bummer, I don't. Okay, I was hoping. So we'll just do what we can. Okay, Joe and Dan both walked to school. Joe lives 5/8 of a mile from school. Dan lives 2/8 of a mile from school. Who walks the shorter distance to school? Tell how you decided. Write a number sentence that compares the distance. So since we don't have fraction strips, something that we can do is draw a number line. So I want you to use the line on your paper to draw a nice long number line, nice and neat. I'm going to put 0 on one end and I'm going to put 1 on the other. So I'm going to show you what my number line looks like. There we go. Now remember, when we're doing a number line, that I'm going to model it on the smartboard thing also, because that's going to be a little neater, and then I'll show you what my hand-drawn one looks like. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab the line tool. Yeah, I know all of you are going, pick the blue one, Mrs. Mears. There we go. Pick the blue one. Okay. Now, way down at one end, let me hit a 0, see if that works. Ha! That worked. Yay. Okay. So I put a 0 at one end. It's just not a very big one. And I'm going to put a 1 at the other end. And hopefully you also have done that. I'm going to see if I can turn it, make it blue, or make arrows on the end, because that would make me happy inside. Okay, properties. I want arrows. Ooh, yay. Yay. Okay, so now we have arrows on the end. So we have 0 at one end and 1 at the other. And ladies and gentlemen, what goes right in the middle? Hopefully you're saying half, Mrs. Mears, half goes in the middle. Okay, so that looks like it's about middle. And I am going to write 1/2 in that spot. And I hope you're also writing 1/2 in that spot. Now, since we've already spent so much time on fractions, I'm hoping you're thinking, well, we are supposed to have denominators of 8. So I need to be thinking, what is 1 equal to 4/8? So tell your cat, your dog, your neighbor, the bird sitting in the window, what our denominator needs to be. And hopefully you just told whatever creature you're talking to, 8. Now, if I have one whole and it's cut into 8 pieces, and I haven't given any away yet, how many are still there? Hopefully you're saying 8. So our one whole is equal to 8. Ooh, there we go, 8 eighths. It almost looks like a heart. Now I need to come up above my half and I need to label it eighths. So if I had a delicious thing of brownies that Brian made and I cut it into 8 pieces, half of it would be how many pieces? If Waylon could talk, he's sitting on the couch next to me. You want to see him? Say, hi, Waylon. There's the dog. Whoop, there you go. Okay, so if Waylon could talk, he would tell you Mrs. Mears would want to eat 4 of them. Haha, because that's half. Okay, so we have found our halfway point. Now, hopefully you remember from when we did number lines before that our eyeballs can very easily divide things in half. So I'm going to come over here and my family is going to get Brian his driver's permit. So wish us luck. Brian is learning how to drive. Okay, so I have just found the halfway point between these. And I don't have 8 marks yet. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 marks. I need 8. So I need to keep going. So I'm going to cut this guy in half. Whoop. I'm going to cut this guy in half. Whoop. I'm going to cut this guy in half. Whoop. Hopefully yours is looking a little neater than mine. That's not the best spacing in the world. and this guy in half. Okay, so if I count my bunny jumps, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, yay, it matches. 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have the right number of jumps on my number line. Now I can label them, and I want you to label yours also. So this one is 1/8. And when Brian and I were messing around with this program, Zoom, the other day, we figured out that there's a button that we can push where other people will be able to write. So I'm hoping next week or when we come back from spring break and we do this, I can have kids write on the screen, which would be like super fun. Okay, so 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Oh, that's a messy one. We've already got 4/8. So here's 5/8. And now 6/8. And now 7. Oh, my numbers are growing as they're going. 8s. Okay, so now I'm going to look back to the problem and figure out what did they really want me to do. They mentioned 5/8 and they mentioned 2/8. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to highlight 5/8. I'm going to highlight 2/8. And it wants to know who walked the shorter distance. So if we're thinking of this in a number line, the shorter distance is the number that is closer to 0 or hero. So hopefully all of you are thinking, well, duh, that's 2/8, Mrs. Mears. So now we need to look back and figure out who that was. That was Dan. So I'm going to finish my number line in my book, and that's going to give you a chance to finish your number line on your paper, and then we will compare what people wrote. Don't forget to write Dan walked the shorter distance, which is 2/8. Oh, and they want us to write, oh, we can't forget this part. So they also asked to write a number sentence that compares the distances. So you need to write both fractions and do the alligator mouth. Remember, the alligator eats the larger fraction. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I am doing my own number line, and I'm going to show you what my work. Oh, I didn't space that very good. Okay, and the cat's playing the piano. That would be Shadow. I'll show you him in a minute. Okay, you guys want to see Shadow? Okay. There is Shadow playing the piano. And then this one on the couch is Denozo. Oh, I already showed Waylon. Okay, so I have my number line. And what have I forgotten to do, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you're going to say, Mrs. Mears, you did not write a number sentence that compares the distance. So I better do that real quick. Okay, so boys and girls, I finished my number line. I wrote Dan walks less. I circled both of my fractions, and I did my equation that compares the distance. So hopefully yours looks a little bit neater than mine. And the cat's playing the piano again. Okay, now we skipped this page before, so I'm going to read over it since we have all the time in the world. Okay, choose the best term from the box. We have the word factor, group, order, and separate. When you subtract, you blank a group from the whole. Number 2, a number line helps show number. Let me read that again. Number 2, a number line helps show numbers in a. Number 3, when you divide, you find how many are in each equal. Okay, so let's talk about what your answers were. When you subtract, you separate a group from a whole. That's what you should have thought for that one. Number 2, a number line helps show numbers in a shows number. Oh, I think that one's supposed to be order. And number 3, when you divide, you find how many are in each equal, starts with a G, group. Okay, identify fractions. Write the fraction of the counters that are yellow. So first thing you should be thinking is how many are in each group? That is my denominator. So as I'm looking up here, hopefully, oops, where'd my cursor go? There we go. I'm thinking 2, 4, 6, 8. So my denominator is what, everybody? Hopefully you're thinking 8. So I'm going to write 8 real quick. Oh, 8s are so hard to do with the mouse. There we go. And now it's asking about yellow. So I got to make sure I'm counting the right one. 1, 2, 3. So what am I writing for my numerator, boys and girls? Hopefully you're thinking 3, Mrs. Mears. Okay, now let's count and see how many are in our entire group. 2, 4, 6. Hopefully you're putting a denominator of 6. There we go. And remember, we are counting yellow, even though it's really tempting to count the red ones. 1, 2, 2, 6 of the counters are yellow. Okay, a little review on division. 14 divided by 2. So if I have 14 tomatoes and I divide them into 2 piles. How many do I have in each pile? Hopefully you thought of 7. Okay, now 4 divided by 4. So if I have 4 things and I put them in piles of 4, how many piles would I get? Well, I'd have 1 measly pile. That's kind of like when you're doing socks. Okay, 9 divided by 3. If I have 9 things and I put them into 3 piles, how many are in each pile? Well, that's going to be 3 in each pile. Now, if I have 10 Pokemon cards and I give 5 to each friend, how many friends can I give Pokemon cards to? That would be 2 friends would get Pokemon cards. 12 divided by 6. I have 12 cookies. I have 6 friends. How many cookies can each friend get? Each friend would be getting 2 cookies. 24 divided by 8. Oh, what's something I could have 24 of? Those lovely little erasers that you guys like to get from me. So if I have 24 erasers and 8 teams of children, how many erasers would go to each team? And that would be 3. There we go. Move that out of the way. Writing to explain. Benji put 6 eggs into 2 equal groups. Explain how to find the number of eggs in each group. So I'm going to draw my 6 eggs, even though that they don't really look like eggs. There we go. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I want 2 groups. I'm going to have the yellow group, and I'm going to have the green group. So if I had to explain how to find the number of eggs in each group, I could say, first, I drew 6 eggs. Then I showed, well, I'm going to back up. I'm going to do it a way you guys are used to. Where's my backup button? Okay, I'm going to do 1 out of every 2 eggs being yellow. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to do 1 out of every 2 being green. 1, 2, 3. And if you're like Mrs. Mears, you just totally confused me. I'm going to show you a third way we could do that one. Okay, so it's talking about equal groups. So I'm going to make a yellow pile, and I'm going to make a green pile. And I am going to physically move my eggs. Oh, I thought I was going to move my eggs. Moving that instead. Ah! Okay, I'm going to lock that real quick so it stops running away on me. Lock in place. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move an egg. Oh, why did it do that? Okay, let's ungroup it. It's kind of like at school when it doesn't behave for me. Okay, yay, I ungrouped it. So I am moving an egg into that group. I am moving an egg into this group. Okay, I'm just going to keep moving my eggs into the two groups. There we go. I made 2 equal groups. And how many are in each group, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you're thinking 3, Mrs. Mears. Okay, let's go on. Okay, I also shared in your Pearson account the math book. So if you wanted to get your math book open in Pearson, you are more than welcome to pause the video and look at it that way. This is just like the smartboard thing that we do at school. So I'm going to do it on this. And I'm also going to turn the page in my spiral and do it on the spiral. Okay, so number 1. In number 1 and 2, compare, write greater than, less than, or equal to, use fraction strips to help. Well, we have the fraction strips right in the book that we get to look at. Ah, I touched something I shouldn't have. Okay, now we're back to the screen I wanted to. Okay, so we have 3/8, which is this top guy, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and we have 4/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. They want us to identify which one is larger, which one is smaller. And hopefully you're looking at this and going, well, I can see that this guy is longer, so he is greater than. So, oh, there he is, 4/8. So I want to write 4/8. I am not going to take time to draw out the fraction. I am going to write a number 1, and this is lesson 10.1. And I am writing 3/8, and then is less than 4/8. So hopefully you've written in your best handwriting and your spiral looks like my spiral. Okay, now on our next one, we do not have the fraction bars with us. So I noticed when I accidentally hit the button that I've got them here though. So I am going to go snag this page. So let's go over here. Where'd that page go? Hello, where's that? Oh, there he is. I'm going to move that page to here, and that way I can use it. Okay, now we're going to go dual screen. Yay! Okay, so they wanted to compare 3/6 and 2/6. So where's my 6? There we go. So there's 1. Now at this point, it's going to be faster for me to go full screen and just turn this into an infinite cloner. So infinite cloner, hello. So, well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Hello. There we go. So 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. So that matches this guy. And now I need to do 2/6. There we go. So hopefully you're like, well, duh, Mrs. Mears, I can easily tell which one's bigger. So in your spiral, let's go with, ooh, later oh, maybe I'll just change that to purple. You know how much I love purple. So let's have a little fun in our lives since we're stuck inside. And let's have a purple pen. Okay, so hopefully you are writing 3/6 is larger than 2/6 in your spiral. And I'm going to show you what mine's going to look like. There we go, and hopefully yours looks just like mine. Okay, number 3, use the examples above. How can models show that if 2 fractions have the same denominator, the fractions with the greater numerator is greater? So that's the big concept for today, is that as long as we have the same denominator, so like over here, we have denominators of 6, it says, how can models show if 2 fractions have the same denominator, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater? So I'm going to type because I don't want to try to have to write with my mouse, but I want you to try to copy what I type. So when, oh, let's type it wrong. When the denominators are the same, I can see that Mrs. Mears cannot type very well. Whoops. I can see that the greater I'm going to say top number, and then I'm going to write the fancy word numerator. Top number or numerator. Here comes my bad spelling. Numerator. Okay, when the denominators are the same, I can see that the greater the top number or numerator, the larger the fraction. Okay, so hopefully you wrote that in your spiral. So I'm going to give you a few moments to copy that, and I'll stop moving it. I'm just trying to make it a little bigger so that it's easier for you to see. And let's pick a fun color. Hello. Huh. Doesn't want me to pick a fun color. That's a bummer. I can change fonts though. Let's be a little bit fun in life. Okay, let's see what Bauhaus looks like. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so please get that copied down in your notebook. I'm gonna count to 20 in my head, and then I'm gonna move on. Or, oh, never mind, you can just pause the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you're back. Now, number 4, 2 ribbons are the same length. Each has a pink part and a yellow part. One ribbon is 2/4 pink, and the other is 3/4 pink. Which is greater, 2/4 or 3/4? So what they're expecting us to do is remember that our denominator for both of these fractions is the same. So the fraction with the greater top number, which is called a what? Hopefully you're thinking numerator, is the greater fraction. So out of 2/4 and 3/4, which one has the larger numerator? Hopefully you're thinking 3/4. So I'm going to type that. 3/4 is the larger fraction. And that one is the, let's see if I can move this. I don't remember what color it was. Oh, well, now that's in the way. Oh, there we go. 3/4 is a larger fraction. The pink ribbon is, and they said greater. There we go. So hopefully you also got that written in your spiral, and let's have a little fun with life. Let's change the font. Let's go back to Bauhaus. That's kind of cool. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger so it's easier for you to see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your chance to get a potty break because I need to go grab my phone because it went texty. So go potty and I'll be right back. That was the teachers telling me to check my email, which I will do later because I don't know how to pause this without messing it up. Oopsie. So I will read that later because you right now are more important to me. Okay, so on to number 5. Whoopsie, no, it's not number 5. Number 5, compare, write greater than, less than, or equals to. So looking up there, we are comparing 2/8 and 1/8. Hopefully you're looking and you're going, well, this one is clearly bigger, so I need to make my alligator eat that guy. So in your spiral, you are writing 2/8 is greater than 1/8. So I was naughty and I didn't write all those in my spiral that we just did, but I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna write number 5, whoopsie, I write it the right way though. 2/8, 1/8. Okay, so hopefully you have written 2/8 and 1/8, and now you want your alligator mouth to eat the 2/8. Okay, now on our next one, we are comparing 5/6 and 2/6. So I am going to copy that down, number 6, 5/6, and 2/6. And while I'm copying it, that gives you a chance to copy it and write down your answer. And hopefully you're going, well, this one is clearly much larger than this guy, so I need to make 5/6 get eaten by my alligator. Now on these next ones, we do not have the fraction tiles, but remember, the motto of the day is as long as our denominators are the same, the fraction with the greater numerator is the larger fraction. I am going to type that real quick, and that way we have it to look at. Okay, as long as the denominators are the same, the fraction with the larger numerator is the larger, I'm gonna say bigger. Well, you can see my space bar doesn't work. Ah! Okay, it's kind of like at school when I hit the wrong button. There we go. Up here. There we go. Okay, as long as the denominators are the same, the fraction with the larger numerator is the larger fraction. So we have that to look at while we're answering these questions. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this would usually be where I say do 7 through 10 on your own and then line up for a Skittle, but sorry, you're not lining up with my house for a Skittle, but maybe you can sucker your parents and do something. So I am going to take a moment to do all of these in my spiral, and then you're going to do yours in your spiral. So please hit pause and then unpause to see if you got them right. So 6/8, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. Ah, I almost made a boo-boo. Okay, number 9. Ooh, a half and a half. I like half and half in my coffee. Okay, number 10. 1/3, 2/3. Okay, boys and girls. Oh, I took my headphones off. I should put my headphones back on. Hopefully you were able to hear me bantering about. I am not sure. With my luck, I will have spent 40 minutes doing this and it won't have worked. Okay, so hopefully your answers match my answers. Okay, on to our problem solving now. For number 11 and 12, the drawing shows 4 fence posts. Okay, so we can see our little fence posts over here that are partially painted. Copy and complete each number sentence to compare the painted parts of the fence posts. So you are writing 2/6 and 1/6. So you're looking at these 2 fence posts. So for number 11, you have 2/6 and 1/6. You are trying to decide which one has more shaded green. The alligator wants to eat that one. And then number 12, fence post painted yellow, you are writing 3/4 and 2/4. So you are looking at these guys over here and you are deciding which one has more painted. The alligator wants to eat that one. So I'm gonna do my answers and you're gonna do your answers. So hit pause now, do your work, and then once you have your work shown, then you can hit unpause. And hopefully, where'd it go? I cannot see the screen, so hopefully it's showing up. There we go. Alrighty, on to number 13. The table at the right shows the money that Roy has saved. He wants to buy a kit that costs $54. Well, he's going to be saving for a while. Use an estimate to decide if he has saved enough to buy the kit. Explain. So we have to remember that estimate means what, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you're thinking round. So we need to take these three numbers and round them. So for A, in your spiral, put an A. Ooh, that really doesn't look like an A. Okay, 12. And if you're like, it's been a while since we've rounded, I'm rounding to the nearest tens. So I'm going to underline my tens place, draw an arrow to the ones, and let's sing that dorky song together. 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let it go. So I drew an arrow to the 2, if you could tell that's a 2, and 2 is below 4. So I need to let the 12 go back down to a 10. Okay, now I have 13. Yep, that's sort of a 13. I'm going to underline my tens place, draw an arrow to the ones. 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let it go. That also is less than 4, so I need to let 13 go back to 10. Okay, now I have 21. Underline the 2, arrow to the ones. Doesn't look very good. Okay, 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let it go. 1 is below a 4, so that's gonna round to 20. Okay, boys and girls, now we need to add this up to see if he has saved enough money. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is, hopefully you're thinking, well, duh, it's 0, Mrs. Mears. Okay, now 2, 3, hopefully you thought 4, Mrs. Mears. So there we go. So estimate-wise, he has saved $40. Is that enough? And hopefully you're saying, no, he has not saved enough. So no. I'm trying my best to write with the mouse and it's tricky. Not. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze enough in, but I'm going to try. E-N-O-U. Oh, it's going to be close. G. Ooh, ah. And an ah. Well, we all know that's an H. Okay. Now, how much money has Roy saved so far? They are not asking us to estimate for B, so we need to actually add it up. So luckily, I have my numbers stacked right here, so I can add them. So 2 plus 3 is, hopefully you're thinking 5. Add one more, I have, hopefully you're thinking 6. Go. Now, I don't have anything to carry on that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He has saved how much so far, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you're thinking $46. So I'm going to write my 46 down. And remember, this is not just watch Mrs. Mears work. You need to be copying this on your piece of paper too. I'm not there to tap on your desk and remind you. And if your parents are off at work, they would just be tickled pink to come home and you to be able to say, look at what I did today. Okay, and C, how much more money does he need to buy the kit? So we need to think, what are my clue words that let me know what operation I need to do? Do I need to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? So hopefully you went, well, Miss Mears, how much more means subtract. So they told me that his kit was $54. Bree, can you come get my phone and talk to Mrs. Scholes for me? Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I need to stack it and subtract it. So in your spiral, hopefully you are writing 54. Take away 46. And I did not give myself good enough spacing. So luckily, through the magic of the computer, I can move it so that we have more room. Alrighty, boys and girls, hopefully you're looking and you're going, well, 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to put down my 0 and carry my 1. Now, 4 and 1 makes 5, and 5 and 5 is a friends of 10. So I can put that down. Oh, yeah, this is where you say, Mrs. Mears, you forgot. You're doing the wrong operation. So, through the magic of the internet, I didn't want to do that far. Okay, so I'm just going to change my operation sign. Okay, hopefully I'm picking the right eraser. Oh, good. There we go. I didn't erase the whole thing. Okay, let's go back up here. And we need to subtract. So, as you may have noticed, bummer, I have to borrow. Okay, so we are ready to borrow. I cannot do 6 take away 4. So I'm going to cross out my 4, cross out my 5. Now when I go next door to borrow, my 5 is going to become a 4. And I'm going to add 10 because I borrowed 10, and that is now 14. So some of you are really good at subtracting, and some of you need to grab that 6 and then count up. So let's do that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and hopefully you went, ooh, that's 8. There we go. And 4 take away 4 is 0. I do not need to put my 0 down. And I need my $sign. So he needs $8 more to buy the kit. If you need to pause it here in order to show all your work and write the words, remember, just like in class, if Mrs. Mears wrote it, you wrote it. I do expect all of this written on your paper. So what I circled with highlighter, I want written on your paper. So if you need to pause it now. Okay, boys and girls. Number 14, which picture shows more than 5/8 of the region shaded? Well, looking at these, they look like they all have the same number of pieces to them. So let's count and see what our denominator needs to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our denominator is 8. So they are asking us about shaded portions. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to think, is 4/8 more than 5/8? Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is 5/8 more than 5/8? 1, 2. Is 2/8 more than 5/8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. is 6/8 more than 5/8? And hopefully this is where your little light bulb's going, whoa! Okay, so I don't want you just to write D on your paper. What I want you to do is write 6/8 is more than 5/8. And hopefully yours looks nicer than mine. That was a little messy, and you do need to write 14 next to it. There we go. And I think that is it for the day. So I'm not going to make you do the writing to explain. What I do want you to do is try to log into Pearson and do the digital quick check that I assigned. And I hope you have enjoyed your math lesson today. I am going to post this on our YouTube page, and hopefully lots of you will visit it. So have a wonderful Wednesday. And I was hoping it would be sunny out today, but I'm not so sure it's going to be sunny. So I may not be able to, okay, how do I stop the recording? Yeah, oh, there is a pause button. Next time I have to go to the bathroom, I'll do that. So ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I look forward to hearing from you. Oopsie, come back, stop recording.